talk at all about maximizing networking meetings? The reason I ask is because I've gone to some networking events, and I feel like there's always different approaches that people take. Like, some people will go around and try to meet as many people as they possibly can, and like throw their business cards around like it's confetti. And then other people will come and they'll just talk to you for like the entire duration of the meeting and really try to build a relationship with you only, which is
Right.
cool. I'm just curious to know, and if it's not part of the presentation, that's fine. I'm just curious to know if you guys have given touch.
It's something I should include but haven't yet. My initial thought on it is if you look at some of these professional companies and platforms that specifically are for networking, they do some of the same common things, so they may be onto something. So there's one called Tribalry that's in Orem that I really like. That's actually one of the times I came here to the Zermatt. You can come to an all-day event for free, and they get you one of the villas for the night. And you just come and meet people and network. And their mantra is that story thing, that the shortest distance between two people is a story. And so what they'll do is they'll sit you at these round tables and they'll have suggestions or things that you should tell stories about, and you're encouraged to get vulnerable. And there's probably 5, 6 people typically at a table, and everyone's getting a chance to contribute. And you also have opportunities to ask advice and get input. But then they'll periodically rotate until you end up at every table. And when I went to a university recently, they invited both of us to come and help the students learn how to network. And they did that same model. They had a table of about half a dozen people, but then moving along so that you are getting a short amount of time with each table, but you're also getting deep with the stories and getting vulnerable. The types of questions they ask you to share with people, you're like, I don't want to share these with strangers. Yeah. So it's getting vulnerable, but shortcutting that connection. And then you move on to the next one. Some of the people, when I leave those events, I feel I'm friends with. These are people I want to hang out with in the future. Most of them become my weak ties, my acquaintances that I can then reach out to later on. So is that kind of?
Yeah, that's great. I figured that like the correct approach was somewhere in the middle of those two extremes. But
just like everything, it needs balance, because you do one side too much, it's a little weird. You do the other side too much, it's still a little weird. So finding that balance. I think Tribalry and the one I was talking about before, where I shared my story of my sister, it's very similar because it's all about being vulnerable in a short period of time. I think a lot of networking groups say there are like 2 to 5 minutes before you're moving on to someone else.
Yeah, I just noticed I'd gone to like a real estate networking thing, and we were sitting and talking at this table, and this guy like comes up and he just like quickly introduces himself and like gives out cards. And I don't know how it happened, but somehow my phone number got on his like texting list.
Oh, great.
Now he's blowing up your phone.
Yeah.
Sending me texts, and I haven't responded to it, but I'm like, dude, I don't know you.
Yeah.
You didn't.
Those are people, those are the kind of marketers that I really don't like.
He didn't build a relationship first.
Yeah.
No, there was no relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, in fact, he kind of felt like an invader on that particular occasion because we were all having a good conversation, and then he just like comes rolling up and like wants to interrupt that. So.
Yeah, so don't do that. Don't be that guy.
That was the right approach.
But let me just share our experience of how Jeff and I got to know each other. Is we met at a networking event where we were the professionals and students were coming up asking for advice for us. So the two of us didn't get really a chance to meet and talk, but we got to see each other's bios and introductions. After the meeting, we both were like, I need to talk to that person. And so we at one point when we saw each other, it's like, I need to talk to you, but I'm talking over here. Just a minute. Don't leave until I talk to you. And we got a chance to connect, and then we went out to lunch. Ta-da, lunch.
Lunch for the win.
Meat.
Barbecue. Seeing a trend here.
It's even better. And we got the chance to really connect and really discuss. And it wasn't until probably 2 or 3 meetings after our first original meeting that we were like, hey, this could be something that we could match and we could work together on. And, so not just networking, but the networking after. So if you get only a second to meet that person, acknowledge, hey, we need to meet up now's not a good time, let's do lunch next week. And so that's something that actually a lot of people don't do, and so it kind of makes you stand out if you're the one that follows up on those. I took note of every single professional that was there that day and added them onto my LinkedIn profile, said, hey, it was great seeing you at the dinner last night. I'd love to catch up. Some people I wanted to catch up more than others because I felt like it would be more beneficial. But for the most part, I caught up with every single one of them. And that kind of sets me apart because most people just, well, it was nice meeting you, see ya, and go along their day.
Well, and I think too, when you go to those events, there's a tendency for some people to just kind of dominate. And I've had, like, it sounds sad to say it out loud, but I've had situations where somebody's just talking to me, and it's not really going anywhere. And then somebody else will maybe like come in for a second, and I'm like, oh, that's someone interesting. Like, I want to pick their brain a bit, but you can't really get out of this initial engagement that you're having with somebody else. So that's a good way to kind of circle back.
Yeah, I always, hey, I really want to talk to you right now. I'm already talking to someone, even if I don't want to talk to that person anymore. I'm super nice about it, so
And they're not picking up on the nonverbal tells that I'm done with this person.
Like,
Look, my foot
I'm
is
like
pointed
walking
out.
away, and you're still talking.
Way too often. I'm like noticing it way too often where my foot is like going to the right side.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Norm, are you?
And on a networking side, though, just as a side note, the networker stance when you're having a closed-off conversation means you're deep into business conversation, don't interrupt. Mm-hmm. But when you're talking like this, you're open to other people coming and being a part of your conversation. So sometimes it's not, I'm trying to get away from this talk, but, oh.
Context and clusters, right?
But sometimes it's inviting
not
other
just one
people
cue.
to be a part of it.
I tell my wife, hey, watch my foot, because it means, let's go.
See if it matches what you're actually feeling, because it could just be a punctuator too. It could just be something that you do that doesn't mean anything.
No.
No, it is. Okay, it is matched. Okay.
I really am ready to go.
Yeah, just
I'm
push it
back engaged.
Yeah, for those that haven't seen that part of the body language, that's often the first indication that someone's done talking to is you'll see their foot turn out.
Which is funny because when you do it, it's kind of conscious too. Like, I'm done.
And if
with
they don't pick
this.
up on that, you turn your torso and start looking at your watch.
Yeah. My father-in-law is not afraid of doing that. He'll just walk away while people are talking. He was getting directions one time, and the guy was taking too long to tell him directions. He's like, "You're not helping me," and just walked on. It was great.
There's some other stuff too from Vanessa Van Edwards, where she gets into specific strategies on how to work the room at networking events. I haven't looked into that yet, but she's got some stuff on her website on that. And networking for people that don't like networking.